I'm not an academic. I'm more a sort of hands-on kind of person. And I have to admit that I took the brief that I was preparing a talk for teenagers, for 16-year-olds. That was the thing I had in my mind. So I hope you'll play with me a little bit. Can you see me now? Can you hear me? Just get a sense of what you can smell in this room. Now, would you just please put your hand on your head for a moment? What is it that you're touching and feeling? Now, if you believe you're just a part of a macrocosm of interactive dynamic web of living miracle of life, would you please just put your hands up? Ah, we've got a lot of miracles here today. That is fantastic. So you might have been missing something if that were not the case. Do you know, when you just walked in here, you moved over 200 bones, nearly 700 muscles, used a few million reflexes, and you haven't even thought about it, did you? See, you're a walking genius. But consciously, the most you can think about at one time is just 7 plus or minus 2 things. What you can do in 1 second, it takes a computer about 85,000 processes to do. About how many laptops do you think it would take to model what a human brain can do? 1 million? 5 million? Well, they reckon it's about 100 million. You're all walking geniuses, supercomputers. But the computers can be affected by lots of different things. You see, the way you think, the way you feel has been programmed partly by even the state of your parents at the time that you were conceived, the culture you belong to, education, exercise. All of these things modify your software and the sort of beliefs, values, and attitudes that you have to life. So apparently we're only about 2% different genetically from chimpanzees. And at every stage in your life, all kinds of things happen, or not, that will determine and influence your future development. 100 years ago, we didn't have over 70,000 alien chemicals in our environment, many of which are completely toxic. The average person in this country now consumes about 10 pounds of food additives a year. Many of them are toxic, and nobody really knows what the effects of all those things are having. We're subjected to a vast amount more information every day, from the television, computers, iPhones, and so on. And so it's quite easy to appreciate that these things have an effect of us. And you know, 1 in 86 children now born will be subjected to autistic spectrum disorders. 1 in 5 children now will have a learning difficulty or behavioural problem. And 1 in 3 will be obese and or have allergic symptoms. So I was quite lucky, I suppose, to be expelled from school at the age of 14, unable to read or write. I was lucky to be saved by an old lady up the road that, because I was only interested in animals in those days, that taught me how to read or write. And eventually a school did accept me. In those days they didn't understand the concept of dyslexia. I eventually became head boy of that school and went on to train at Edinburgh in ecology and wildlife management. I got a scholarship to go and live out amongst the Maasai in Kenya, which was a life-changing event for me too. And then I was involved in setting up and managing the Centre for Alternative Technology in Machynlleth in Wales. They're now training about 200 postgraduates a year on management systems that are sustainable, that's going to improve the environment by using it, rather than destroying it for very short-term selfish motives. I then became an osteopath, and over the years become an osteopath and natural health practitioner. And 18 years ago, I registered a charity called the Sunflower Trust for children with learning difficulties. And basically what we practice now is what I would call human ecology. It's creating the right environment, physically, physiologically, mentally and emotionally, to allow the natural process of healing to occur. And when we do that, more extraordinary things happen. We're not just clones to be programmed by our education. Every person is unique and special. And I'm just a servant of nature to find out what I can do to help them get more in touch with their own innate genius, to help them on their journey through life. But you appreciate with all of these things that the motherboards that we can have, these supercomputers, can sometimes get a little bit confused. You can get glitches on it, and that can affect the way you think, the way you feel, and sometimes influence how well you behave. So it's little wonder that problems can sometimes occur. But you know, we do know it's important to take exercise and have the right diet. But what about the brain? What does it take to help your brain develop and make the most of itself? It's only 2% of your body weight. It can use as much as 40% of the oxygen you breathe. And when we put children through the Sunflower program, we get an average 70% uplift in their health in regard to their structure, biochemistry, neurology, mental and emotional state. The word emotion comes from the word motion. What moves you is your muscles. You experience your feelings through your body. So, just for a moment, would you mind just sitting back in your chair a little bit? Put your shoulders back. Put on a positive expression. Breathe in deeply. And just let go. How does that feel? Now, I'd like you just to tense your jaw, tense your shoulders, look down. Come on, play the game. Put a grimace on your face. How does that feel? Walk tall. You're each unique and special. And it's amazing how different it can make you feel and how different it can make the way in which other people respond to you. Now, would you mind just putting your hands on your tummy for a moment? And as you breathe in, I just want you to feel that diaphragm move, how it pushes your hand out. So breathe in and breathe out. Now, I'd like you to close your eyes and do that again, but each time when you breathe out, I just want you to allow your shoulders to relax and just let all the tension go. It's easy and effective. Sitting is now the new smoking. We're designed for motion, not to be static all day. Walk whenever you can. Do you know that 90% of this side of your body goes to that side of your brain and vice versa? When you're walking, you're integrating the two sides of your brain and becoming a more balanced, integrated person. Make sensible choices on food. Avoid trans fats, sugar, refined carbohydrates, and all the chemicals and salt they put in junk food. No wonder hospitals are full of chronic illness. A lot of headaches are just due to dehydration. We're 70% fluid. The whole of life is the flow and exchange of fluids. Put on a smile. Your brain makes endorphins. It can boost your immune system by as much as 40%. And it makes you more attractive to other people too. I promise you, if you use these techniques for success, it's going to add years to your life, life to your years, and you're going to feel a lot better and have a lot more to share with other people. Every cell in your body is a microcosm of the world. Everything relates to everything. Anything can cause anything. Nothing happens on its own. Find a way of working with nature if you want to have a sustainable, happy, healthy future on this planet rather than destroying it. You know, it just makes sense. Thank you.